Well, hello there. Welcome to our Sunday Q&A. I don't often go live on Sundays, but it's a special occasion. So welcome everybody. I'm not sure how many people will join us here on a Sunday, but it should be a whole lot of fun. And we've got Sharon in the house. Hello, Sharon. And Monique is here. Welcome. I'm sure more people will join us as we continue and progress. So today is all about answering your questions, if you have any questions. And I have been answering some questions that I've gotten in my email. People have emailed me questions about various things. I wrote down a few of them to share with you. I'm not sure if these particular people will be on our live call today, but I've already emailed them responses. But I thought they were pretty good questions. I'd share them with you as well. Hey, Tracy, thanks for joining us. So I'll maybe go through a couple of these, and then if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll answer them. It could be about anything we've talked about so far in the acrylic pouring extravaganza. It could be about the Pouring Studio membership, which is now open, and I'll probably talk about that in a little bit as well. So anything you want, go ahead and you can ask in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. And before we dive into questions, I just want to let you know that next week, starting tomorrow, April 25th, we're going to have a whole another week of acrylic pouring extravaganza. I'm going to give you kind of a whirlwind tour or whirlwind experience of the pouring studio. So I'm going to kind of cram a whole month's worth of membership content down into 5 days. So hopefully you'll be able to join me for that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're going to pick a technique and we're going to work on that technique throughout the week. And if you want to, feel free to follow along and do some painting if you want. That would be pretty awesome. So we'll talk about the technique tomorrow, but we're going to meet at the same time, 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern time, every day. So it's like week 2 of acrylic pouring extravaganza. I'll probably have a couple more downloads, resources for you in that same section where you can find it on the website. So it'll be a whole bunch of fun. Tomorrow we're going to go and do a technique walkthrough. Tuesday we're going to do what would be the painting night live. So I'll take that technique and do a couple of variations of it, show you how to approach it a few different ways. That's always a lot of fun because there's never just one way to do a technique. There's always multiple ways, which is really, really cool. Wednesday, we'll have a studio chat and I'll share something hopefully very useful with you. I don't want to spoil it yet, but it won't help you just with that one technique, but it should help you with all of your acrylic pouring. So that will be kind of fun. The studio chat we cover all kinds of different topics in the studio chat, from color theory to paint mixing to finishing your paintings, just all sorts of different things. So we'll have a kind of a fun one coming up this Wednesday. Thursday, we'll have another Q&A. That's normally when I have a members only Q&A. And so if you have any questions, we'll be able to answer questions again on Thursday. And then Friday, I'll go ahead and do another acrylic pouring demonstration for you. And I've promised now a couple times, so I'm going to do a open cup demonstration. Maybe I'll do a second one as well. So, but that should be really, really fun. So that'll be Friday. And this whole week, the Pouring Studio membership is going to be open, and it's going to close on next Saturday. So I'll be talking about that a lot. And but just bear with me. I want to spread the word because now is the time to join if you're thinking about it, because of some amazing bonuses that are being offered at the moment. And but I'll talk about that plenty in the future tomorrow. So I wanted to just mention that if you haven't signed up through the acrylic or the acrylic pouring extravaganza page yet, I'm going to put that link in the chat. If you go there and sign up, you can get my canvas coverage cheat sheet version 2.0, which is pretty brand new, and it'll sign you up for some updates and all the replays that we'll be doing. Plus, you'll be able to get a bunch more free resources. So I'm going to put that down in the comments. And so if you haven't signed up for that yet, head over there after our Q&A, and you can get your hands on some really awesome free bonuses, free resources. There's a bunch of stuff in there. And also, you'll have access to all the replays. I'll send those out to you. And I've already sent out kind of the replays for last week's live trainings, but I'll send them all out to you, last week's and this upcoming week's. So, all right, let's dive into some questions. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'm going to just scroll back up here and see if I missed anything. We've got all kinds of people that have joined us. Hey, Irma. And Donna is here. Kathy is here. Welcome and hello. Let's see. Carla has joined us. Awesome. And Kathy is here. And she wants you to smash that like button. Thanks, Kathy. I appreciate that. That's awesome. High five. All right. And Monique just got her split cup. That's fantastic. Great, Monique. Yeah, they're probably difficult to find over there. You know what I just saw? It was a comment on Facebook. Michaels is now selling split cups. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. They're like Artist Loft brand split cups. There's like a three container or a 3 section and a 7 section. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I went online and looked at my Michaels and they're sold out, totally sold out. So, but if you're interested in a split cup, keep your eyes open. You might be able to grab one at Michaels. So it's pretty cool. And by the way, I also have split cups that I use. I really like just a two container one, like 2 sides. And I've got one or a couple of them on my Amazon shopping page. If you want to check those out, they're not designed for painting. They're designed for holding drinks and things like that. They're like a 2-sided tumbler or mug. They're really, really cool. I use them all the time. So, but you could check those out on my Amazon shopping page. And Donna is asking, are the cheat sheets and past videos on the membership page? Most of the cheat sheets are already in the membership site. Not every single one of them, but I'll be adding them soon, maybe today. But the videos are not on there. The videos are all tucked away nicely and conveniently in a YouTube playlist, all 5 of them. So you can kind of watch one right after the other. But I might put them in there too, if you want to. That's pretty cool. I could do that. And let's see here. And let's see here. I'm just checking to see if any other questions came in. Not yet. So let's see here. And Christy is saying, thanks for all your efforts. You're very welcome, Christy. And thank you so much for joining the membership. That is fantastic. Congratulations and welcome. I am happy you are a member. And Irma is saying, I don't get paid till the 1st, so I've got to wait to get the gold membership. Why don't you send me an email, Irma? Because the membership is going to be closed on the 30th. But if you send me an email asking me, or saying you want to join, but you can't join till a little bit later, send me an email. We can work that out. But it's going to definitely close on the 30th. But if you send me an email, we can work that out. So, and then Donna is saying, just put the link to the videos in the membership. Then you won't have to put them all in the membership. That's a great idea. I can do that as well. I will do it, Donna. Great idea. So let's see here. So Linda has joined us. Hey, Linda. All right. So let's, I'm going to talk about a couple questions that came in. And I mentioned this earlier, but I've been answering a lot of different questions that I've been getting. Some of them have been very specific questions, so I just answered those. But a few of them came in, and I thought they were kind of great for everyone to hear. So I wrote those up, and we'll take a look at those. And but I don't know if all these people are going to be on here today, so I already answered them with an email, so they've got their answer. But I thought they were good questions, so I'm going to share them with everybody. So here is the first one, and this is from Debbie. And Debbie asked, "Do you like lots of cells or few cells? What's the best way to get cells?" So I think Debbie was, getting like asking me kind of like a nice friendly question, and then how do I get cells? That was her big question. So, but Debbie, I like, you're going to hate this answer, and I already told her this. Sometimes I like a lot of cells. Sometimes I like fewer cells. Most of the time, though, I kind of like a medium amount of cells. And but it all depends on the technique. It depends on the paint mixing formula. It depends on the colors you're using. If I use a lot of metallics in there, then I tend to get more cells. Certain techniques are prone to get more cells. Flip cup techniques, floating cup, open cup techniques, you can get lots more cells than, say, the ring pours or straight pours. So it really is, dependent on the technique. But I like lots of cells usually. I like Floetrol cells. I like my glue and silicone-based cells. So I'm all about cells, but I also like fewer cells or minimal cells. I pretty much like it all. So, but that is the best way, I would say, to get cells. If you're, really, really want to get a lot of cells, work with floating cup, flip cup, open cup techniques, and use Floetrol. And so maybe just a simple recipe, my easy formula: 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint. Get the correct consistency. Make sure all your paints are the same consistency. And just go ahead and go for it. You should get quite a few cells. And the other important thing is to use the correct amount of paint on your canvas. That's pretty important. Not a lot of people talk about that, but having the right amount, not too much, and but not too little, is incredibly important. So, and that's what my canvas coverage cheat sheet is all about. So that is a little bit about cells. But I thought that was a good question. I like that one from Debbie. So let's see here. I'm going to just keep flipping back and seeing if you have any questions, and I'll kind of intersperse these ones I've written down. So, and all right here. Lots of chattering, chit chat, which is good. That's great. Glad to see Donna has joined us. Awesome. Hey, Donna. And then Irma is asking, oops, that's not Irma. This is Irma. What is your opinion on using house paint for the base or for cells? I personally don't like to use house paint for pretty much any technique I work with. I do use it, and I'll show you how to use it when we get into the bloom course down the road a little bit. I'll show you the classical, the standard bloom technique, like the way Shelley teaches it. And she uses a house paint for her, what she calls a pillow, not a base coat, but a pillow, which is a big, thick mound of house paint on your canvas or your panel. I don't really like the house paint, other than the only exception is when I use the satin enamel from Home Depot, like the satin enamel Bear brand, and that's only for the cloud pour or like pearl pours. So that is the one exception where I do use house paint for my techniques. But aside from the bloom, I don't really like it. I think house paint is, it's designed to go on a big flat surface. It's not really designed to go on canvas, like a flexible surface. And it's not made with the greatest pigments. This is my thoughts. A lot of people have different thoughts and use it a lot. But it can be prone to cracking. So I don't really love it for the techniques that I use most often. But I do use other whites, and you can use cheaper paints. Craft paints are relatively inexpensive. You can use Blick has a line of paints called Blick Acrylic, which are much more affordable paints. And also Creative Inspirations is another brand you can get at Jerry's Artorama. You can get a lot of paint for relatively a small amount of money. And those are great paints to use because they are acrylic paints, and they work with all of these techniques. So I'm not a huge fan of the house paint, aside from one satin enamels, which I use very sparingly for very specific techniques, or the bloom where you're using a house paint for your pillow. But there are even alternatives to that, which I'll show you in that course down the road a little bit. That's a great question, though, Irma. And Susan is asking, you had a recipe for 3 parts Floetrol, and I think 2 parts Liquitex pouring medium and 1 part paint for cells. Is my memory correct? Yeah, that's pretty close. That is, I've got a couple different Liquitex formulas, but that's very, very close. 3 parts Floetrol, 2 parts Liquitex pouring medium, which helps the Floetrol generate cells, which is really cool. It's a little more advanced formula, a little more expensive formula to use, and then 3 parts paint. And then there is an alternative to that, which is for, I believe, the Dutch pour, or maybe something else. But you're right in the bulk. That formula would work great, Susan. And I'd say 1 part paint, or 2 parts paint, perhaps. 1 or 2 parts of paint. So that's a great formula. Let's see here. And Christy is asking, will you be showing how to do the hair dryer? Not sure what it's called. Yeah, I absolutely will be doing, it's commonly known as the Dutch pour, or a blowout pour, or back in the olden days, the first name it was an air swipe, and an air swipe with your hair dryer. I've got mine right here, a little one. So we've covered the Dutch pour. We'll probably cover that again coming up in the next few months. We did it once. It scared a lot of people, but it is a really fun technique. It takes a little bit of practice to be able to maneuver and work your hair dryer. You have to have your consistency very thin. We use a very thin consistency for that paint. It just takes a little bit of practice. It's a little messy, but I'll show you like a little, splash barrier that I've created. There's a bunch of different ones you could use, but it's a really, really fun technique. I like it a lot. Carla, one of our members, is fantastic at the Dutch pour. But she does it a lot more than me. So it's a great fun technique, but we'll definitely be talking about that. Also, you could go and review the Dutch pour walkthrough and all the videos in the membership right now. And you could kind of get the ball rolling if you wanted to, and review those videos. And I walk you through how to use the hair dryer. There's some specific movements that you can use for the Dutch pour that I've come up with. But I've got the Dutch pour paint mixing formula in there. So you could start doing the Dutch pour right away. And we'll also be doing it again live, in the membership coming up in the future, I'm sure. And great question. And then Monique is asking, can you mix Deco Art Extreme Sheen with just water? She's out of Floetrol. I would think you could. And I've never tried it, though, so I can't say yes for sure. But I'm sure, like Rinske has used it in the past in her Dutch pours. She uses paint and water by themselves all the time. I'm sure she's used the Deco Art 24K Gold and mixed it just with water. Plus, it depends on the technique. If you're doing kind of standard techniques, ring pours, flip cups. You don't need it that thin. So just a little bit of water should thin it out nicely for you, Monique. So that's a great question. And let's see here. And Chris is asking, have you shown us how we sign our work with that pen from the March Art Show? I haven't done a video specifically on that pen, but I will do that coming up really, really quick. And then what she's talking about, I use a pen. It's a little tiny paint pen. It's a liner pen. So you've put a little bit of paint right in the top here, and it's got to be pretty thin, like ink consistency. And you just draw or write right on your canvas or your painting, and the paint comes out really nice and crisp and clean and pretty, and you can control it very well. You can mix custom colors. So it's a very handy little, cool little pen that I've been using to sign my paintings. And I did a little quick demo using it, but I'll make a little more specific video and get into the details on exactly how to use it. So great. Thanks for reminding me, Chris. I forgot all about it. I've been so busy, but yeah, it's a fun way to sign your work. You don't have to use that. There's many ways you could sign your artwork, but that's one option that I've been using, and I like it quite a bit. So great. All right. And Carla is saying she was able to get much better results with my brand of dryer. And thanks for that, Carla. Yeah, I used 2 of them. This is a small, little tiny one that really helps you control the paint a little easier. It's a little easier to control. And I use a bigger one for larger paintings. This works great for smaller size canvases, and you can get fine detail work. And this is also on my Amazon page. Let me show you where that is. I'll grab the link and you could go check it out. If there's any of these things that you might be interested in looking at, they're all on my Amazon page. I'll throw it in the comments here. And I've got categories for all these different things. I've got like acrylic pouring tools and some studio supplies, paints, kind of some gadget things. There's all kinds of stuff on there. And everything I use, I put in there. It helps me actually because it's a convenient way for me to find what I've been using and reorder it. But it's very helpful for all my students and members to find what I'm also using. So feel free to go check that out if you want to. And everything I use is in there. And Sharon says she struggles with the blowouts. Yeah, many people do. It's a tricky technique. It's not really, really easy. It does take some practice to get a feel for it. So yeah, give yourself a little bit of leeway and just give yourself some practice time working with it. And I've got one of the biggest problems with the Dutch pour or the blowouts is using too much paint on your canvas. You need very, very little. You put your base coat on, kind of blow that out, and then very little amount of paint. And because the paint blows a long way, so a little goes a really long way. So, but I see that's a common problem is people using like way too much paint on there. And it's easy to do because you get carried away and I'm going to use this color and that color and throw all this paint on there, and then you blow out your paint and just it spreads everywhere. So that's one tip is use less paint and you might enjoy your results more. And also the second most common problem is your paint is probably too thick, and you really need some thin paint. So if you're having trouble blowing it, it should blow very easily with even this little tiny hair dryer, which is not very powerful. Your paint should blow pretty easily and smoothly and kind of flow very easily into the rest of your base coat. So if it's really stuck or not moving much, you probably need to thin your paint some more. So those are the 2 kind of biggest problems with the blowout pour. And all right. But yeah, give yourself some grace with that one. It is a tough one to master. All right. And let's see here. And Linda is asking, Brad, do you store your leftover paint in the fridge? Does it need to be thinned with water again if you do? No, I don't store my leftover paint in the refrigerator. I would be wary of that actually, because I don't think I've ever seen that done. I have seen storing oil paints in the refrigerator, but there's no water in the oil paints. So I'd be wary about storing your acrylics in there, just because that water might have a tendency to freeze. And if it freezes, it's going to, it could damage the pigments, and it could damage the, it might make your paints less likely to adhere to the surface. So, because in general, you don't want your paints freezing. You don't want like your acrylic pouring mediums freezing. So, because it can damage, it can destroy like the binders and the adhesion qualities. So I might stop doing that if you've been doing that lately. You can always add water though to your paints. Here's one of I've got lots and lots of leftover paint. I keep them in these small 5.5 ounce containers with lids on them. Or I have larger containers, like things like this, cups like this, I cover with like a Glad press and seal, and that keeps them airtight. But if they've been sitting a little while, sometimes they can thicken up a little bit. That water will want to evaporate out of there. So you can add a little bit more water to thin them down just a little bit if you need to, if they've been sitting for quite a while. So don't be afraid of that. You can always add a little more water to get them into the proper consistency again. So, okay, hope that helps, Linda. Great question. And Rashida is asking, do I use gloss medium in my pours? And she's interested in the blow dryer. Well, the blow dryer is, yeah, just click that link and you can go check it out. And do I use gloss medium in my pours? Not normally. I do use a gloss medium in one specific technique that I have, which is a glue-based pouring medium. So I use glue and a specific gloss medium and varnish and paints, and then I will add silicone or the dimethicone to that to get these really, really wonderful looking cells. But there are many different recipes and formulas that use like a gloss medium. I use Liquitex pouring medium in some of my formulas, and it's not necessarily a well, it is a glossy medium, but it's specifically a pouring medium. But there's many, many different types of gloss mediums. So, but yeah, there's many different formulas you can try. If you're using it and enjoying the results, continue to use it. There's so many formulas I've yet to try, but I will try probably in the future. So I guess yes and no. I do use it sometimes. For most of my paintings, though, or most of my pours, I do not use it. I usually use my just Floetrol paint, a little bit of water, or I'll add Liquitex pouring medium to that and use the Floetrol Liquitex paint and a little bit of water. Those are my kind of go-to formulas most of the time. All right. And let's see here. And Chris tried the hair dryer and it was fun. Paint went everywhere. Yeah, the paint flies around. It's a messy technique, but it's a really fun one. And Sharon is saying she thinks her paint isn't thin enough. Yeah, probably. Yeah, just thin it down some more. It should be almost like water, and it should be zero mound when the paint streams off the stir stick into your cup of paint. Zero mound, so it should just go straight in, and then you're in pretty good shape. All right, and Kathy says, thanks for the tips. You're very welcome, Kathy. All right, and let's see here. And Irma is saying some people seem to get a lot of vibrant cell or colors in their cells. Mine seem to go just one color. There could be a couple reasons for that, Irma. I guess it depends, like a lot of it depends on what colors you're using. And if you're using a glue-based formula or a Floetrol-based formula, to get multicolored cells like consistently, I like to use a glue-based formula with silicone or dimethicone. It gives you these really beautiful multicolored cells, but your paint should be the proper consistency. You don't want it too thin, and you want to layer it maybe in a certain way. So you have like maybe a lighter color and a darker color, and a lighter color, darker color, or a bright color, and then a darker color. So you want to really vary the layers of your paints. And I was going to show this a little later, but I'll show it to you now. It's the let me flip the camera. This is the painting I did Tuesday, and I'll just show you. It's got a couple multicolored cells, and this is the demo I did Tuesday. It's got a glue-based medium. This is just a flip cup. I did 2 flip cups, and it had dimethicone in it, which is the coconut hair serum. And I've got some interesting kind of multicolored cells in here, some orange and some teal. And it's a fun technique to work with, and you can get some really cool multicolored cells. And I also share in the membership my varnish and glue based formula that you can use with the paint and the silicone, and you get a lot of multicolored cells with that particular formula. But this is a great way if you want just to get a lot of cells. Glue-based medium is a really, really great way to do it. And I get more multicolored cells with this than I would normally with a Floetrol-based medium. And I'll flip back here. The Floetrol cells are not as consistent. They vary a lot, and it really depends on the colors you're using, but they look more organic. I love those types of cells just with Floetrol and paint. But it's very hard to try to get specific colored cells with the Floetrol and the paint mixtures. So, but great question, Irma, or comment. And Lily wants to go take a group trip to see Monique over in the Netherlands. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be awesome. I would love that. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so let's see here. Well, no other questions at the moment that I see. I'm just going to check and see if I missed anything. And but here's another question that came in that I thought might be interesting to answer. And this one is from, I actually kind of talked about this a little bit, but this one is from Connie, and she asked, do you have a list of materials to get started with? And so of course I do. And just if you had just joined us, I just talked about this a little bit ago, but if you go to the acrylic pouring extravaganza page and sign up for our extravaganza this coming week, you'll get a whole bunch of downloads, including a supply list and a color chart with some of my favorite colors that I recommend. So, and there's a bunch of other resources in there as well. I'll just throw that down in the comments one more time. If you had just joined us, I mentioned that earlier, but yeah, there is a specific supply list, and I've kind of boiled it down to the very essentials that you need to get started in acrylic pouring. There's 7 really essential supplies, and then there's some extra bonus supplies if you want to pick them up. They're they're great to have, but you don't absolutely need them to start with. But that resource is in the Acrylic Pouring Extravaganza download section on my website. And if you sign up at that link, you will get access to all of those downloads. And Lily has got a great question. And do you get cells with glue and water without adding the silicone or coconut serum? You can sometimes get cells, but they're much more sporadic. And if you didn't want to use the silicone or the coconut hair serum, I would just recommend going with a Floetrol mixture. Kind of the whole point of using the glue-based mixture is to use silicone in there to get the silicone and glue-looking cells. And the cells are very specific and look a very certain way, a distinct way with the glue and the silicone. That's why I like to use it. And that's really one of the only times I use silicone in paint pouring is with a glue-based medium to get these very beautiful specific looking cells. I just love the way they look. And you do need heat to kind of bring them up and bring them to life. And you can get some cells with just regular glue and water, but not in general. They can occur, but they're, again, very sporadic. The glue by itself is not a great pouring medium to generate cells. In fact, if you don't want cells, glue is a great way to go because you don't get lots and lots of cells. But that's a great, great question, Lily. And Chris is asking, Brad, when I try to add a photo to the monthly art show, it seems to want videos. Yeah, there's 2 upload links, Chris, and the one you're clicking on is for video only. And I'll show you exactly how to do it right now. I'll jump in there and show you. So we'll take a quick little look inside the pouring studio. Let me share my screen, and we'll jump in there quick. I do have a video on exactly how to do that, but I'll jump in there quick and show you how to do it. So let's see here. Let me remove this and do this, and let me also do this. All right. So let me jump back over here. So here I am on the Acrylic Pouring Extravaganza page. I'm going to go click the login button, and that'll take me inside of the pouring studio. I'm going to just enter my email and password here. And here we are inside the pouring studio. And here's an upload that Sharon just put in. She posted this, I think, last night, which is pretty cool. It's awesome giraffe painting. I really like that a lot. But if you go over here to member artwork or the monthly art show, both are the same. I'll show you how to create a new post. So if you click on this new post right here, enter a title, and I'll just say new. And then you have to enter some kind of content in the body section, some kind of description. I'll just say painting. Anything will do. And this is the video upload right here. This is not the one you want unless you have a video. Right here is the upload link you're looking for. So if you click on this little attach file, and then you can go grab any kind of image from your computer. Here's a painting image, and then click open. There is your image, and it should be a JPEG or a PNG image. But that's how you add image files, is this little upload icon right here. And then once you're done with that, you go click the done button, and you can publish it right now. You could schedule it for later, or you could discard it. Let's just publish it, and I'll discard it later. So there we go. Here's a painting from Brad. And if you go back to the home page, here is the latest post. So all the latest posts show up on the home page. The latest, meaning this one. So this is all the updated latest stuff right here. And then over here on the side is like if you joined the membership, I'd recommend checking out this Attention Start Here topic, and it'll walk you through some beginning steps on how to navigate the membership site. Here is a content calendar. This is where all of the new content is going to be displayed, so you can go join the live streams. And we've got a bunch of stuff in here. And then I'll show you this quickly. If you go over here to Products and click on Products, these are where all of the content within the membership reside. So here is the Pouring Studio. This is all of the content, all the live streams, all of the PDF files, all of the videos, everything is in here. And then here are all the courses that we're going to be coming out with. So right in here, you have access to the Foolproof Pouring mini course. You have access to my brand new Fluid Art Foundations course, which is kind of a beginning, like not a beginner course, but an overview of my entire paint pouring system. It's all in here, really. And I walk you through 3 of the core techniques. And then right here is the Acrylic Pouring Extravaganza download section. So if you click on this, here is the Canvas Coverage Cheat Sheet 2.0, plus the downloads from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We did a bunch of color theory stuff. Thursday, and then yesterday, Saturday, we did some fun color scheme stuff right there. So that is a little quick walkthrough and demo on how to upload a post, and a little bit of where everything is at inside the Pouring Studio. So great. I'm going to stop sharing and go back here. All right. So hopefully that helps you, Chris, and you'll be able to upload your paintings for the art show or otherwise. I'd love to see them. And let's see here. All right, so back up to the top. Okay, so we had Chris's comment. Great. And Christy is asking, do you strain your Floetrol? Absolutely, yes. It's one of the most important things you can do and you have to strain it. And I'll show you what I like to use. Let me move this aside. I like to use these paint strainers. You can buy these. These are actual paint strainers. You buy these at Home Depot or Lowe's. They're right in the paint section. And at Home Depot, where the Flood Floetrol is, these are right next to it. And I find that very coincidental. But these come in like a big bag, like a 1 gallon or 5 gallon bag. And these are made for straining latex-based paints, wall paints, things like that. So they come like in a big mesh bag like this. And I just cut these up into small squares, something like this. And one of these will last you quite a while, these little small squares. And then I take just a rubber band like this. Yeah, let me grab my Floetrol. I've got a bottle right here. So I usually buy the gallons of Floetrol, and then I just pour them into my leftover 1 gallon containers. But I'll take the top off. So I'll just fill up the bottle, and then I'll take and put one of these little strainers right on top and use a rubber band to secure it. I'll double it up 3 times. So I just once, and then I just take one of these and then double it up again. And then I just put that right over the top like that. And then I just trim away the excess from the top of my bottle, and you're good to go. And then the Floetrol will be strained whenever you pour it out of your container. And I usually just pour it right out of here. And the strainer also helps kind of control the Floetrol, so you can pour just a small amount. It doesn't come gushing out of there. And then the other great thing is you can just put your cap right back on the top, and you can just strain it as you need it. It's perfect. And you can strain it into a container, like a small squeeze bottle. And I've done that many, many times. That's what I provided my students with the in-person classes. I'd give them a little squeeze bottle of Floetrol. But eventually, that Floetrol will generate some stringy, gunky stuff, even if you have strained it first. So, but straining Floetrol is vitally important. It's a super easy way to do it. There's other ways too. People use like an actual little strainer. There's like a cap you can buy that has little holes in it. For me, this is like super cheap, super easy to do. And I've been doing it that way for years and years. So, but yeah, that's a great question, Christy, because it's really, really important to strain your Floetrol. And it can wreck your paintings with this big old gunky piece of stringy stuff that comes out of the Floetrol. Then you got to go pick it out of your paint. It's a mess. So, but yeah, great question. So, all right, here. And uh-oh, I think I screwed up the entire walkthrough. Oh, shoot. I think I did. I think I screwed up the entire walkthrough of the uploading or making a post. Carl is saying all she can see is the first page. Oh, boy. I'm sorry, everyone. I just totally messed it up. Sorry for wasting your time. I just kept on going. Oh my gosh. And let's see here. So let's see. And Chris says she always shakes her Floetrol before she uses it. Wow, I feel dumb. So, well, let me try that one more time very, very quickly, just so I can show you how to post an image. Let's see here. Will this get me inside? Let me go back here. Let me check and see if I'm on that page. Okay, there we go. Let me do this really, really fast one more time. Okay. So here's the little post I just made. Let me make another one. So I'm going to go over here to member artwork and click on that. Or you could go to member art show as well. Let me make sure. Is it on there? Member artwork. Okay. And so I'm going to click a new post, and you have to put a title in. So I'll just do new again. And then you've got to put in some kind of a description. So I'll just say painting again. Let me make sure you can see it. Can you see that? Hopefully. Okay. And then what you want to do, you don't want to click this video upload right here, unless you have a video. Don't click this one. Click this one right here. If you click that, then you can locate the image on your computer and click open, and then open up that image. Is that opening? Oh my gosh, that's a huge one. Let me get rid of that. Let me open up another one. Just a small image. Here, I did this one before. So there we go. Is that working? Can you see that? So, okay. So hopefully that works. And so then if you scroll down here to the done button, and if you click on this, you can publish it now, you could schedule it, or you could just discard it. I'll just discard this one. And that's how you upload an image or a photo to the website. So sorry about that. Let me stop sharing my screen. Oh my gosh. See, I have to go over to the other page to do all the stuff. So I'm not seeing what's on what you're seeing. Geez. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that, everybody. All right. So are there any other questions that I missed? So I've done that before, I think. And My God, it's hard to share your screen, sometimes. But let me answer another question that came in while you're thinking of some more great questions or funny comments for me. But let's see here. This one came in from John, and he asked, what's the easiest technique to start with? And I thought that was a pretty good question, an interesting question. And there's going to be a lot of different answers to that particular question. But in my opinion, the easiest technique to start with is the direct pour technique, because it's very, very simple. All you're going to do is mix up your paints and then just start pouring them right on your canvas and then tilting them around a little bit. And it's not the most like mind-blowing technique to do, but it's a very simple one. And what it will do for you is it gets you comfortable with just mixing your paints, pouring them on your canvas, tilting around the paint just to see what happens. It's a very, very simple technique to start with. And I walk you through the entire direct pour process in my Fluid Art Foundations course. So, which is cool. And there's actually 3 simple techniques to the direct pour that I show you. The first I call the classic, which is what I just described, just pouring paints, pouring individual colors on your canvas, just tilting it around. That's called the classic technique. Then there is the puddle pour, which is kind of a variation of the classic, where you're pouring your paint in small puddles, kind of one color on top of another color. And then you can do some tilting, or you could do some manipulation with some tools or things like that. One really popular way is to use a marble and do a marble roll on your puddle pours. That's a fun technique. And then there's the third one, which is the ribbon pour. And that one gets a little more sophisticated. We layer your colors in a small cup and then pour it on your canvas. That's also known as a dirty pour. But I like to call it the ribbon pour. I think it's a little more accurate. But then I like to combine all those together for the direct pour technique, all 3 of those simple techniques. But I walk you through that entire thing in my Fluid Art Foundations course. So I thought that was a good question from John. A lot of people will say the flip cup is easier, and that's a pretty simple one. But I think if you're just brand new, you've never done anything, the direct pour is kind of very simple, non-threatening, easy way to dip your toe into paint pouring. And like just like JC says, she teaches the flip cup in her introduction class. And yeah, that's a common answer, which is the flip cup. And it's a little more fun to watch the flip cup and make that stuff happen. And it's a very easy one too. All right. Cool. So that was a question from John. I'll go and answer maybe one more here. And this one came in from Karen, and I actually get this question a lot, so I thought I'd share it with you. And Karen asked, I'm nervous to start, and I'm confused about what paint recipe to use. What do you suggest? And I get this a lot. A lot of people have watched tons of videos, and they're super excited to start paint pouring, but they're very nervous because there's so much to learn. There's so many supplies, so much conflicting information, 1,000,001 different paint mixing recipes, all these different techniques, and it can be very overwhelming to know where to begin. And back when I started this, there were far less videos. There were a few, and some of the, I want to say, veterans paint pourers were around, and I definitely watched their videos. I learned a ton, but you had to kind of experiment and do a lot yourself. Well, now there's like an embarrassment of riches, and it's just like completely confusing and overwhelming on how to begin. So I always suggest starting very simply with my foolproof pouring formula and method, which I talked about on this last Tuesday. And I shared that formula with you, that foolproof pouring formula, which is just school glue and craft paint, and mix those up to the proper consistency. And it's like a very simple formula because you can't really get it wrong. I show you exactly how to make that. And then just start with like a flip cup or a ring pour using the craft paints and the school glue. You can get started for very, very, very cheaply, very inexpensively. And that particular course, I have that course. You could buy that course if you want to. It's quite inexpensive, or you get it for free if you become a member. But if you have no idea where to start, that's a great place to start because you can just buy a few supplies. You can test it out. You can see if you like it to begin with. And if you just go watch that video that I did on Tuesday, you could pretty much just go get that stuff. And you could watch the video I did on Monday, which is all about the supplies I use. Those two videos will get you going with acrylic pouring very inexpensively, easily. You can test out paint pouring, see if you like it. You do a flip cup like I demonstrated in that Tuesday video. And that's a great way to start. And that's what I always recommend. Instead of going out and buying all this other stuff, Floetrol and all of these expensive ingredients and everything, just start as simple as possible. See if you even like it first before you invest in more time and money in materials. So that's what I told Karen, and she got back to me. She was very appreciative of that. So, but I wanted to just share that not only for you, but anyone who might be watching this replay and is also nervous about starting, because it can be kind of intimidating because there is so much to learn and there is a lot that goes into it, but it can be very, very simple. You just have to know how to start with just the basics and just the most important supplies and tools. So, all right. So that is all of the questions that were submitted to me. And I'm just checking for other questions here. And Christy's got one. She says, I love the ways to finish your art. And as applying a finish, like there are multiple ways to apply a finish. And in the membership, you'll already have access to that. In one of the studio chats, I cover how to finish your paintings using my favorite way, which is Liquitex varnish. And so I walk you step by step exactly through my process of applying varnish inside the membership. So you can check that out, Christy. I think you'll find that very interesting. And another popular way is, of course, the resin. And I'll be covering that down in the future. That's a more advanced way. And you really have to practice that before you start putting it on your paintings, because there is a learning curve to resin. But that's also a very popular way. So, all right. So I'm not seeing any other questions at the moment. So any last minute questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. Otherwise, we will break for this evening and then meet up again tomorrow for our acrylic pouring extravaganza continuation. And you'll get a whirlwind membership experience, which is going to be a whole lot of fun. And I'll show you a technique tomorrow, do a whole technique walkthrough, do a demo using that technique. And that will be our live that we'll be doing tomorrow. And it should be very fun. And also, I'm going to throw this in there one more time. Let's see here. Let's see. If you haven't yet signed up for the acrylic pouring extravaganza, you can do so right here at the link down below. And you can get a whole bunch of free resources, which I think you'll love. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And Irma sent me a message. Awesome, Irma. I will get back to you and we will get you set up. Cool. And all right. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining me this evening. Great questions, great comments. Sorry about the huge blunder on my part, but that's going to happen every now and then. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.